Thank you, Ambassador, for sharing that. Now we have another breaking news coming in. The escalation of conflict following joint US and Israeli strikes on Iran has stoked fresh concerns in global energy markets, pushing crude oil prices sharply higher. Investors are pricing in a geopolitical risk premium, partly over fears that key shipping routes like the Strait of Hormuz could be disrupted. The strait handles around 20% of the world's oil trade, and any closure or bottleneck there could dramatically tighten supply amid ongoing military operations. Brent crude and U.S. West Texas Intermediate benchmarks have already rallied to multi-month highs as traders react to uncertainty and potential supply shocks. Some analysts warn crude could break through psychological thresholds, with talks of prices approaching $90 to $100 per barrel or more if the conflict deepens and hampers exports. Market volatility is extending beyond oil equities, are wobbling, and safe haven assets like gold and U.S. Treasuries are drawing flows as risk sentiment sours. Higher energy costs could ripple into inflationary pressures globally, affecting consumer prices and central bank decisions in interest rates. Some oil market strategists point to possible OPEC Plus production adjustments to help stabilize prices, but that depends on how long the conflict persists and whether the region's supply infrastructure remains intact. Several major shipping companies have suspended navigation through the Gulf due to escalating security concerns in the Middle East. French shipping company CGM has announced that all its vessels in or bound for the Persian Gulf would take shelter immediately, and that passage through the Suez Canal would be suspended. Hapag-Lloyd also halted all transit through the Strait of Hormuz, while Maersk has warned clients of potential delivery delays due to rerouted ships. With Iran itself a meaningful crude exporter and geopolitical tensions at its peak, markets are bracing for more dramatic moves in oil prices in the coming weeks. Now we welcome back Ambassador Mahis Sachdev. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for staying with us. Now, as before I go to the trade, do you think that we were talking about the validity? What if just like Congress declared that these tariffs were invalid, what if they decide these attacks were invalid? Then what now? Of course, they cannot roll back what they have done already. They cannot bring back the leaders who have passed away to life. What do you think would be unfolding in U.S. domestic politics?
It's a good question, but I think its reply would depend on a number of factors. First of all, if this turns out to be a swift victory for United States, a categorical outcome, then the political space in United States would be taken over by Mr. Trump and his aficionados, who would claim that the precise surgical strikes have had their impact, and President Trump would be smelling of roses. A similar situation would be in Israel, where Prime Minister Netanyahu would have removed an existentialist threat in Islamic Republic. Here, one should say that both countries are likely to have elections later this year, which may be crucial to their respective leaders' future. President Trump, unless he reverses his trailing in the polls, his Republican Party may lose majority in both houses of the Parliament, Congress that is, and then he stands a threat of being impeached on 16 and other files by the Democratic majority, as it may happen. At the same time, the domestic situation in the United States, uh, while the cost of living crisis uh, has affected the popularity of president, uh, he may overcome it with a foreign policy success. But in case this turns out to be a costly and expensive and long winding exercise, as many observers fear, uh, resulting in a considerable number of American casualties, then the converse would become true and the cycle would be reversed. Uh, in that sense, Israel also faces a moment of truth. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is already facing court cases, and he has public sentiment against him for having been responsible through neglect for October 7, 2023, Hamas ingression into Israel and the massacre that it caused and the Gaza war that followed. Uh, I think he would like to turn the page over by success in Iran and decisive regime change. Uh, that would be very crucial for him to uh, stave off challenges for as he seeks his eighth term as prime minister. So these are very crucial times. When it comes to energy that you mentioned, in the short span, uh, if the war concludes, the oil prices may go up to, let's say, $80 a barrel for Brent. But then, after the war ends conclusively, hopefully in American Israeli victory, then the prices are going to go further far south
Yes.
than they were before. But in case the war continues uh, for a long time, this would presage a very difficult
Yes.
turn of events, while the Brent price may
Ambassador,
go up to 100 or more. Uh,
Ambassador,
OPEC.
Ambassador, we have another breaking news coming in. Do stay with us. Thank you for sharing that. Now we have another breaking news coming in from Iran. Iran's leadership is preparing for the next steps following the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Mohammad Bakir Kalibaf has pledged to continue Khamenei's path, ensuring stability in the country. Meanwhile, Ali Larijani has announced that a temporary leadership council will be set up today. Larijani has also warned secessionist groups that any attempts to destabilize the nation will be met with harsh response. The country now braces for these critical developments as Iran navigates its leadership transition. Now we welcome back Ambassador Sachdev he's joining us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Ambassador Sachdev, for staying with us. Now, would you like to please continue what you were stating
Yes, I was
earlier?
talking about long-term impact on the oil
Yes.
prices of the turbulence, particularly in Strait of Hormuz,
Yes.
but also in the Red Sea, which has only now begun recovering from 2 years of instability caused by Houthi attempts to blockade the lower Red Sea and Bab el Mandeb. This would be a double jeopardy. Firstly, the crude supplies through Strait of Hormuz, which are nearly a fifth of the total uh, worldwide, would suffer, sending prices to be higher as uncertainty prevails. Secondly, if the shipping routes through Suez Canal is once again disrupted, the ships may have to travel across Cape of Good Hope, and that would add further cost not only to the world trade but also to the fuel requirement for this maritime navy, naval ships. So that would need more fuel.
Yes.
And the fuel itself would become scarcer. So that's how it'll add to the difficulties in the oil market.
Yes.
Oil market was widely expected to become a glut this year, but
Yes.
The way
Ambassador, unfortunately, we're running out of time for this discussion, but thank you very much, Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, for joining us today and sharing that insight throughout our breaking